So I initially failed two 50K combines. This was my third combine that I got in with three contracts. It instantly dropped, got out within that next candlestick. So it was within 15 minutes I had made that 10 grand. I went into the military straight out of high school, but in high school, basically the beginning of high school is when I started trading.
First step, like that was probably one of the biggest things you could have did.
I told myself that I want to be able to quit my job, take day trading full time, pay off my current car that I have right now, and then be able to pay off my wife's credit card debt and then her car.
Age, whatever you wanna give. When, like, if someone were to ask you, what do you do? Who are you? That's your time now.
Got you. So my name is Zontrell Pledger. I'm 20 years old. I started trading, day trading. I started day trading when I got into. I was about halfway through the military, so that was about 2 years ago when I started day trading. I went into the military straight out of high school, but in high school, basically the beginning of high school is when I started trading. So I've been in the markets for about 4 years. My first 2 years, I did stock options through Robinhood, and I mainly did that just because that's just what that's what was hot at the time 4 years ago. So I mean, it was a lot of information on YouTube about it, so I kind of just dove into that and was, kind of getting the hang of trading or whatnot. That was my start of it. As far as day trading goes, I've only ever traded two pairs when it comes to futures, which is NASDAQ and US 30. And I started out initially trading Forex, and on Forex, I primarily like to trade gold. But when I first met you, of course, I had about 15 of them that I was looking at.
Had to cut them Jones. That was the first step. Like, that was probably one of the biggest things you could have did, just because I'm telling you, just less is more. You just being able to dial in on just a few things, it makes it a whole lot more effective for what you're trying to do. And shit, you saw the results afterwards. But you can keep on going. How long? When did you start trading again? So you said, like, during the military, like right around that time?
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
2023.
So you started at about 18 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the first year of that was strictly demo accounts. Like, that was no real money in the markets at all. I paper traded for a complete year just off of demo accounts. And then after I felt like I had been doing it for so long, that's when I threw $1,000 into a live account, I believe, on 3 occasions. Usually, once again, 3 is typically my number that is like it's my gauge. So after I had blew that $1,000 on 3 different occasions, I was just like, okay, we got to find something else. Either it's the strat. I was like, I just basically got to go back in and do more research.
You got to figure out the why. The why is everything.
So once I dove back into that, and then of course I came across you. So I came across you. I didn't even know, probably would have not known for a couple more years about prop firms at all, just because of where I came from stocks. Prop firms aren't really in the whole stock. It's no.
It's one of the things. Futures and forex are definitely, prop firms are heavy within those like 2 asset spaces. It's like very heavy. Versus if you go to options and stuff, they're like, funded account. Like, I'd be using my money.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, because I feel like day trading is the most prominent example of more money makes more money. Just because of, like you say, if you stay at a 10% risk level, as your account grows, that 10% is going to naturally get higher. You're going to naturally make more money.
Just that compound effect.
So just like when I was making those just $1,000 live accounts, I initially thought for the longest it was just the money. Like, it was like, I don't have enough money to completely make enough money to quit my job. Like, I don't have
leverage.
enough.
This is a leverage thing. Like, like you said, it's money. You need money to make money. Trading isn't somewhere where you come in with $0 and turn it into $1. Where you could turn $1 into $2. You could turn 100 into 200. But you still need to have something. Like, it doesn't got to be everything, but it has to be something. Like, yeah, you had $1,000 account that can turn into something, but it may not necessarily be what you're trying to turn it into. But like, if you would try to turn that $1,000 into $8,000, which we'll get more into, that would have taken a lot of risk, a lot of up risking, and it probably would have taken a good amount of time. Also, you would have needed to spend $1,000 up front with that account.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get into like more like when you got into prop firms. How is it like that? Like your whole storyline journey behind getting into prop firms from being on the live accounts for so long.
Getting into prop firms, honestly, I have a very love-hate relationship with prop firms, just because of the drawdown, especially with the 50K funding, which is where of course I was going to start at the bottom, but as I'm doing it more and more, I'm realizing that $1,000 stop really is like, it's not that it's not shit. The $1,000 stop is really good, but I don't like that on a 50K account. That takes me out for the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like trading Nasdaq, especially when it's volatile, if I'm trying to make $1,000 per day, which has been my goal, as far as where I'm trying to start at, is being able to consistently make $1,000 per trade, because I'm only trying to take one trade a day if I can, if possible, or 500 on 2 different trades.
Yeah, that's probably like the easiest way. 500 risk if you're trying to like not go for a crazy risk to reward, just going for like a 1 to 2, just like average. If that makes sense.
So it's just like, in order to do that, it's kind of like I just had to. I don't know. It's very hard to find a sweet spot with prop firms. Like in order to be able
I say
to
the main
risk,
thing
in
is
order
just get the
still make
balance
that
to a certain
money.
point. That's always going to be the main thing. Like right now, we'll get more into it. So like, I'll just kind of give you an example based off of where you are right now. Talk about like the account that you have now and like where you got it to, and then I'll kind of explain how you can necessarily leverage it more, especially when it comes to the prop firms such as TopStep.
So my 50K funded account, this was my 3rd account. So I initially failed 2 50K combines. This was my 3rd combine that I got, and this was, once again, I was just like, either this one's we're gonna finally pass it, or we're gonna have to go back and do more research. I watched the market for a couple of days, I felt like a big trade was coming because the previous 2 days during New York session, it dropped like between 100 to 300 pips on those 2 days within just New York session. So I felt like it was going to repeat itself once again, based off of what it had just done in London. It had a huge bull run. So I figured it was going, based off the previous, it was going to be a big bear run right after. I got in on that trade with 3 contracts, and
it was on NAS. It was on NAS or 30.
It was on NAS 100. Yeah, NAS 100. Got in with 3 contracts. It instantly dropped, and I got out within that next candlestick. So it was within 15 minutes I had made that 10 grand, because it was within that next candlestick, just because it had completely dropped off.
Just goes to show it's possible. Like especially, like I was gonna say, because now that you have that 10K account, the main thing that you're able to leverage it, like you were saying, is kind of hard finding that sweet spot. Now you're at a point to where, for one, if you get a certain amount of winning days on TopStep, they're just gonna allow you to have more drawdown in general. They're gonna allow you to have more contracts. But now you're in a position, like you have enough drawdown to where you can kind of scale it a little bit differently. If you want to risk 500 per trade, you could do that. If you want to risk 1,000 per trade, you could do that, because now that you have the balance, and it's not like you do have that daily loss, but even then, once you get your account to, say, a live account with TopStep, which just comes down to having a certain amount of winning days and having the account longer, so that they trust you to actually do it accordingly, they start to take away a lot of those rules. You can get your daily limit raised. You can even get it taken away once you get to things such as a live account, which just comes down to staying in the game long term. As long as you can keep staying in the game, the requirements that you're going to have to kind of get a payout and like get fast and soon payouts is going to slowly go away, because you're going to be proving yourself to the business that you can make them money, which is what they want to see, which is you're doing good so far. Explain to them how much you've been risking in terms of winning and losing after you had that big trade. Because one of the biggest things I told him was, don't lose the account. Right now, you can get a $5,000 payout guaranteed. Even if you lose $5,000 trying to get these next winning days, you still get that $5,000 payout. Like, that's one of the main things. He needs to just stay in the game, which is what he's done because of his risk management. So if you want to talk about everything after having that 10K day, what have you been doing to kind of stay in the game? Because most people, they might have blown their account. They might have lost a funded account. Why are you still in the game?
Main reason is because I dive a lot into the psychology behind trading and whatnot and knowing yourself. And I feel like I'm very in tune, I guess, with myself. And I know I'm very big on over trading as far as it goes because I'm very much an opportunist. Like it's like if there's an opportunity to make money, I want to be in there with that. Like it doesn't matter if it's trade. Like that's just any way in life. That's just me as a person. If there's an opportunity to do something, I'm gonna take it every single time. Not in a weird, not like in a week. I'm gonna take it right now. Like that's just me. I always just jump
No
on it.
procrastinating
Whatever
around
happens,
here.
happens.
No procrastinating.
Yeah. So it's like whatever happens, happens. So knowing that about me and being close to a payout, only needing those 2 more days after that 10K trade, I told myself non-negotiable rule. I was only gonna take, well, of course, with your advice, you said go to the minis, but even on the minis, I told myself I wasn't still gonna hop in there because they were minis. I was gonna wait until a perfect setup once again, kind of like that, like watch the
Quality.
market for a couple of days.
Quality
Yeah,
over quantity.
a good quality setup to come along. And like I told you, only one came along that this past week, but I capitalized on it. Got my 200, got out, and then now I only need one more positive day. So that's what I'm doing this week.
Now that's definitely gonna happen. Think of it like this. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow, doesn't have to happen Thursday, doesn't have to happen Friday. All you gotta do is keep following the process that got you here in the first place. And as long as you're risking a certain amount, you're not gonna lose $3,000. Because right now, he's ever since he got that $10,000 day, which was about 2 weeks ago, he's lost $2,000. So he's still up 8, but he's gonna be able to withdraw up to 5 if he wants to. So he's gonna have about 3 left if he wants to. So in reality, his 5,000 is still his 5,000. It's just more or less him moving things and risking accordingly so that he doesn't have little to nothing after taking a payout. He wants to be able to have something to be able to risk, to be able to keep yourself in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that first payout is always going to be key because that's going to be your first futures payout. Well, first payout in general, right?
Yeah, that'd be my first payout.
It's going to be a good one. Most people don't get 5,000 for their first payout. Most people don't even get 5,000 in their first year, 2 years. So it goes to show it's possible. You only did it with one account. That's the most important thing. He's passed another account now. He got another 100K account, but he did all of this, the 10K with one account. Now imagine you have 2. Now imagine you have 3. Now imagine you have different prop firms. Now imagine you're taking some of that money, putting it into a live account. What's the one thing that doesn't change? The process. The same thing. You're going to be doing the same thing. If you put a copy trader together, you could literally do the same thing, making 10 times, 20 times more money. You can be an investor to somebody that gave you $100,000, trading your same account, trading the same system, risking differently on their account, based off the risk management, making 100,000, 10,000. The sky's the limit once you have the process that's able to replicate the result, and that's exactly what you know by now. It's just experience, and once you see it for yourself, it's like there's nothing I can tell you to. It's just you see what's possible from you actually doing, from taking the information, applying the information, getting the result, seeing it happen in front of your eyes, and then it's just like, well, what's stopping me now? It always comes back to what? Us. And like you said, that's why being strong with yourself, understanding yourself is going to be the most important thing to be able to get you to that next level. Because you trade very similar to I trade, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to have a $10,000 day when you do, because it always comes down to us. What are we going to do in the moment? Am I going to hold the trade? Am I going to get out the trade? Am I going to be disciplined to wait for the trade? Am I going to overtrade? All these different things come into a part, but what's the main variable? Us. It always comes back to us, not the market, always on us. And that's why exactly you've been able to get to where you are right now with 2 years of trading experience with 1 year of 1 year of just real trading with real emotions, if that makes sense, because real live funded account, live account. 1 year demo was just getting you ready so that you were prepared without having to lose all the money, go through the emotions, just focus on the process. So now that you're in this position, all you're doing is you're just worrying about yourself. You already got the process. Now you're just making sure you don't take yourself out the game, that's the best part, because now all you got to do is just don't get in your way tomorrow. Don't get it where you're the next day. Just keep not getting in your own way. The money's going to be a byproduct no matter what. It's not a matter of if you'll make money. It's just a matter of when you'll make that money, when you'll get that payout. It's not a matter of if you'll get that 5,000. It's just a matter of when. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's Friday. Maybe it's Monday. But that is not a matter of if. It's just when. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And honestly, I will say about this process, being new in it, I would say definitely to anybody that's going to be watching this, embrace the feelings. Like, after the 10K trade, before the 10K trade, every time that I get into the market, I get this overwhelming like anxiousness, almost like I was playing football again, like any type of sports. Like I just get this overwhelming anxiousness before I enter the market. It's just like, just because I know the potential to make money and lose money, and like I said, any opportunity there is ever. I also like I'm always just like I want it. So it's just like um it's definitely I don't know, it's just been a great feeling, but also interesting. Like just
Like
kind
you
of
said, it's
being
just
able to
about,
like maintain that. Like feel like I feel it, but just because I'm anxious, I'm not
it's not a
I'm
bad
making sure
thing.
to step away from the maze.
It just makes you
Step away.
human. It just makes us us. Like the main thing that people think, you're supposed to be emotionless. Ideally, we're supposed to, right? We're supposed, but we're never going to be emotionless. It's just not gonna happen. We're humans. Humans is one of the main things. Like emotions is one of the main things that make humans humans because we can feel emotions. That doesn't make us a robot, which is something that we also there's pros and cons to it. Because guess what? Those same emotions are gonna keep us out of bad trades sometimes. It's like a pros and cons, but the main thing is like you said, you just got to become okay with it because it's part of the game. Same way a loss doesn't feel good, it's part of the game if it was supposed to happen. It's just something that you'll get better at handling from going through it. How do you become more patient? From being in more situations where you got to be more patient. How do you become disciplined? From being in more situations where you got to be more disciplined. And it's like the same exact thing. How do you overcome that feeling of just anxiousness from being more in situations where you're feeling that anxiousness and then seeing that, damn, my life isn't going to be over afterwards. It's going to go away. If I close my eyes, if I take a nap, I'm gonna be better again. And the more situations, more times you put yourself in that situation, like damn, it's not that bad. Like that's why I could take losses. Like I took a loss today, 2 losses, but it's not like how it was 2, 3 years ago because I know it's part of the process. I've been through it enough times where it's not the end of the world. Because how do I handle it? Because I've been through it enough times and realize my life isn't going to be over. To realize a loss doesn't mean I lost my account. Doesn't mean I'm a horrible trader. It just doesn't mean that. And I've been through it enough times to finally realize that and be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your goals? Like 2025, it's only April. You've had a crazy first 2 months. Like April 1st right now. What is your goals for 2025?
Well, honestly, what I'm gonna do, like, I'm a big planner. Like, I plan like way ahead. So, like,
That's good.
I have everything planned out. That I do month by month, and then I have everything that I do like by 3 months, half a year, and a year. So, just overall, like my yearly goal, um, I told myself that I want to be able to quit my job and become take day trading full time, and I want to be able to pay off my current car that I have right now, and then be able to pay off my wife's credit card debt, and then her car. And once I do that, then go into whatever my second investment will be, whether that be throwing the money that I'm making from stocks into long-term investment stocks, or that'll be doing something like I don't know, like monetizing myself in a way. I don't know, making
Nah, yeah,
content, whatever that'll be,
you're gonna
creating
be locked
another
in when the
form.
time come for it. Like it's all sky's the
Yeah,
limit. How you do one thing is how you do it. There's a million ways to make $1 million. There's a whole lot of things you can do in the world, especially when you have your
yeah,
time back. That's the main important thing. Once you get rid of the job, have your time back. Now instead of having to focus on something that's gonna make you money so that you can get your time back, you'll be able to put your time into something that will later make you money because you have the time now, which in most people don't have the time to be able to learn a skill. Most people don't have the time to be able to monetize themselves because they need the money. So they got to spend their time to get the money, which now they don't have the time to be able to learn more ways to make more money. It's just a big old cycle. But once you get that time back, sky's the limit. Like once I started the content, that's when my life started going even crazier because I got my time back from trading to be able to put my time into other things to be able to say, put it like this. I wouldn't be able to help you if I didn't have the time. Simple as that. I wouldn't be able to reply to your messages. I wouldn't be able to be in the morning. It's just simply time. And then if you have time over time, it's just that compound effect. Like we were talking about earlier, that 10% over time just keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going. But if you don't got the time to be able to put that work in within that, it's hard. But once you understand the game, is just you can't get played by it. But it's good that you have a plan because without a plan, just like trying to go to California from Florida with no map, how you gonna know where you're going? How you gonna know when to stop? How you gonna know how close you are? Once you have a map, it's just a matter of not a matter of if it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. How long is it gonna take to get there? I know where I'm going. I know what I gotta do. All right, it's just time now. We just gonna make it happen.
definitely. I will say also my ultimate goal is I want to also be able to put 10K into a live account at some point of this year as well. I want to be able to take 10K from profits from prop
All right,
firms
easy.
and throw that into a live
If you
account.
could do 5K with one payout, just imagine what you could do by the end of the year with money saved up after paying stuff off. Is sky's the limit with multiple accounts. Sky's the limit. Trust. If you've seen what you could do with, if you could this in perspective. If you could turn a 50K funded account into $10,000, you could turn 100K into 20. 150K into 30, and that's just with those. And then that was one day. Keep that in mind. He didn't do that in a week. It's possible to do it in a week, but he did it in one day. So even if you take what I just said into the span of, okay, what if you just do it a couple times throughout the month? That's a big the sky's the limit. And trust, that's just breaking the surface. That's just one platform.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Sky's the limit. Look at him smiling. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. He's like, it sounds good.
Exactly. Yeah, nah, I be wishing you could trade all day, man. That's the hardest thing.
If you could trade all day, though, you wouldn't enjoy it after a while. It would be intense all the time. It would be very intense all the time. You would be thinking about the charts or a trade right now. But now, since you're not in a trade, you kind of have that freedom. You don't feel like on your shoulder too.
I will say that's true, but for a person like me, I think the idea of freedom is being able to trade. Genuinely, because I've loved stocks my whole life, like I've only wanted to do two things, which was become a lawyer or do real estate. So those two things my whole life, and I ended up with stocks, and I have been watching the market since I was 13. Like I just I don't know, I just love watching charts, math. Like I'm just a math geek, so like I love watching the charts.
That's why I like watching charts. That's the first time I heard it. He said I enjoy watching it. You know what I be comparing the charts to sometimes? Watching paint dry.
Literally, I mean
that's what I compare it to sometimes. Because sometimes especially if you're not in a trade, that's definitely like paint. Now if you're watching something, all right, you kind of have a purpose. There's like purpose behind watching, but when there's no trade, you're just
no, that would be crazy. Now I honestly just have it up while I'm either playing the game or I got something playing on my TV, but like I always just kind of like to see what it's doing. I don't know, that's just me.
Nah, I feel it. It's always good to just stay busy. But the way I look at it, just take that same energy, just put it in other aspects, because trading is just one part of the day. We focus on a lot of other things, we'll be able to go way further, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. But I think that we're going to wrap it up there, about 20 minutes a game. We're going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy. $5,000, we're going to get that payout. Like he said, it's coming this week. If it doesn't happen this week, it's going to come. It's not a matter of when. It's just a matter of, that's it, when, matter of fact. It's not a matter of if it's going to come. It's just a matter of when. That $5,000 is already locked in. That $8,000 day is already locked in. All we have is now. And now we're just going to keep on moving forward. Just keep on doing the same things that got us in this position. We're going to come back with another interview. You're going to have a different background. It's just going to be different. You're going to be the same person, just evolved, just leveled up. That's all it's going to be. Same person, different day.
As soon as I be able to quit this job, I actually be able to join with the team and be in it.
It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. You guys gonna be seeing him. You're gonna be seeing the call. You're gonna be seeing him in the vlogs once he gets out the job, because then he's going.
Yeah, once I get out the job, I be working. But once I get out the job, I would be in it.
Put it like this, guys. Too, before we end it, he did all this, not even having the time to trade really in the morning. So put that into perspective too. He works every morning, and it's just. He's sleeping, like his schedule is the complete opposite of what most people are. So if he could do it, there's no reason that you can't do it, or at least get a portion of what he did. At least a portion. It's very possible. Very possible. But now it was good having your time here, Brody. Glad that you could show everybody it was possible. And until next time, we're just gonna stay busy.